Good morning! Today, we're going to study lessons in English 9 under Quarter 1, Lesson 1. Are you ready? Let's begin. Lesson 1 is entitled Recognizing Roles in Life. And our target in studying Lesson 1 is to analyze literature as a means of discovering oneself. But before we go to the text, let me show you a picture. What do you see in the picture? Correct. They are the stages of life. Can you name a member of your family in each stage? I'm giving you time to say the name of your family member from baby to your grandpa. Ready? Go. Very well said. What do you think is the relevance of naming your family members in today's lesson? Well, to find out, let's begin. Again, to understand our lesson, this will be our guide questions. Read with me. How well do you know yourself? Again, how well do you know yourself? And let's have another question. Do you see yourself in the picture? Do you see yourself in the picture? How do you see yourself 30 years from now? How do you see yourself 30 years from now? Do you know who is this? Yes, this is William Shakespeare. He is the best playwright ever lived. Together, we will read the text All the World's a Stage from the play As You Like It. To find out more about him, I include the link that will tell you so many things about his life and works. But for now, let's have the reading of his writing. Ready? All the World's a Stage. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms, and then the whining schoolboy, with his sad shell and shining morning face, creeping like a snail, unwillingly to school, and then the lover, sighing like furnace, with a waffle ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow. Then a soldier, full of strange oaths, and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, in fair round belly, with good couple lined, with eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise sauce and modern instances. And so he plays his part. The 6th age shift into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful horse, well saved and a world too wide, for his shank and his big manly voice, turning again toward childish treble, pipes and whistles in sound. Last scene of all, that ends this strange eventful history, is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sun's teeth, sun's eyes, sun's taste, sun's everything. Do you like it? Now, if you want to read it again, you could go back and read it to yourself, because it is a very good play which was spoken by Jacques in As You Like It. So let's move on to the analysis of the literary text. If you're ready, then let's move with me. The literary device that we are going to study are the following. Now, take note that I have highlighted the words which produce sounds. These sounds are called sound devices. Again, they are called sound devices. And sound devices is just part of the big kingdom of the literary devices. One of them is what we call the figures of speech. Another one is imagery. Another one is simile, metaphor. Those are parts of the figures of speech. But for today, we will only be focusing on the one side or one part of the literary devices. And that is what we call sound device. So I want you to look at the table. In the first row is where you could see the types of rhyme. And the first type of rhyme that we are going to study is alliteration. Say that again. Alliteration. Now, I took example of an alliteration from the text that we had just read a while ago. Read with me. All the men and women merely player, and one man in his time plays many parts. Now take a look at it very carefully. The underlined word that I have here are man. The underlined words are man, merely, man, many. What is their similarity? Use your ears. They all have the sound mm. Again, they have the sound mm. What about the highlighted word like player, place, parts? What sound are they the same? Very good. They have the sound p, p, p. Now, if they have the same sound, what sounds are they? They are consonant sounds. Very good. Consonant sounds. And when we say consonants, they begin with b, b, k, k, d, d, f, g, g, l, l, h, j, j, m, l, m, m. So those are consonants, and a lot more in the alphabet. Now, what can we say about alliteration? Think of your answer. I'm giving you enough time to think for your answer. Okay, now I want you to give me your own example. I want you to look back at the text and then look for an example of an alliteration. Take note that they are repeating the sound of a consonant letter, and they are usually at the beginning of the word. Okay? Go. And what is the meaning of alliteration? I think you can now define alliteration using your own words. Very good. Alliteration is the repetition of the initial consonant sound. Alliteration is the repetition of the initial consonant sound. Or you could also say that alliteration is the rhyming of the initial consonant sound. So, these are the examples that you could find as your answer. Quick and quarrel, well saved, world too wide, shrunk. And for our definition, we have alliteration is the rhyming of initial consonant sound. Okay, let's move to the next slide. The next type of rhyme is consonants. Say it again, consonants. What letter is being repeated in the sample that I have here? Now, I want you to focus with the red highlighted words. Okay, the words in red. So we have players, exits, entrances, place, parts, ages. Oh, I missed acts. Again, we have players, exits, entrances, place, parts, ages, and acts. What do you notice? How do they end? That's the hint. Very good. They all end in S. Good job. So what is consonants, therefore? But before we go to the definition, I'm giving you enough time to look for an example of consonants from the text. Ready, set, go. Okay, if you have whining schoolboy with his head shell and shining morning face, creeping like a snail, then you hit it, because schoolboy ends in O, satchel ends in L, and snail ends in L. They have the sound ooh. Another one. In fair round belly, with good couple lined, with eye severe and bird of formal cut. The highlighted words ended with the sound d, like round, good, lined, bird. So they are an example of consonants. So, what is consonants? Consonants is the rhyming of intermediate or final sound, or final consonant sound. Take note, these are all words that end in consonant. Right? Now, what about intermediate? When we say intermediate, they could also have the consonant sound in the middle of the word. If alliteration has consonant sound at the beginning of the word, then consonants has its consonant sound in the middle or at the final of the word. Okay? Now, I'm giving you another example. Now, listen carefully. My handsome boss is outstandingly handsome. Or, let's change it from awesome. Again, my handsome boss is outstandingly awesome. So what sound is the same? Correct, the S sound. And the S sound is found where? Is it at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end of the word? If your right is in the middle, then you are correct. You have the word handsome. The S sound is in the middle. Boss is at the end. Is at the end. Outstanding is in the middle. handsome or awesome is in the middle. So that is an example of what we call consonants. Get it? So that is what we call consonants. If you have understood it well, then you are now at the right track.